Krishna mercy, all good. Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. So we'll start with our chapter 19. Omajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shinavadi Pashatya Deshatarane. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Last week we did chapter number 18, chapter number 18 of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, which is where Srila Prabhupada relocated from Bowery to the 26th Second Avenue. This is a new place where Srila Prabhupada was staying. This was initially a gift shop in the New York on Second Avenue, a very busy street, lot of traffic, and it had a storefront, like a long storefront in the front, and then at the back of the building there was a two-story apartment, and this is the picture where Prabhupada used to stay there. In the back there was a window, and there was a nice courtyard in the back. And in this courtyard, there were some trees were planted, and devotees used to gather there, doing japa, meditation, like that. And here was the Prabhupada ji used to conduct all the classes in the storefront. Now, most of the crowd at that time was different than the crowd who attended at Dr. Mishra's yoga studio. And the crowd who was there were hippies, who had rejected the suburban materialism, and they were tired or disillusioned by the traditional American way of living. And at that time, Vietnam War was also going on. So, I promised you that I'll be sending you a video, and I did not send one. But here is a video. I hope you can see this video. I'm going to share the screen now. Just give me 1 second. This was the video I was supposed to send, but I did not send that video. But this video highlights Srila Prabhupada's activities at the yoga studio there. So I'm going to stop sharing this one. And 1 second. Stop sharing this one. And I will share the other screen. It's a beautiful video. I wanted to share it, but I did not have the sound facility at that time. No, not this one. Here's the one. Can you see this video, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu, can see. You can play.
Okay, I'll play the video. Is the sound clear?
Prabhu, sound is not coming.
Sound is not coming. That is a problem. Anyway, sound has an issue. Maybe I will have to adjust my sound. And now is the sound?
Yes.
Is it coming?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay, good. Let me see if it's going to go full screen now. Okay. Okay, why it is... 1 second. Okay. Why this is going like this? Oh, here you go. So that's the backyard, courtyard that Srila Prabhupada was going into from his apartment into that room where he used to have this program. And he's entering from the side door here. And then they had created a makeshift stage there in the Second Avenue. And Srila Prabhupada did then sit on the stage there. That's the real time. 1966, this is August 1966, actually. And then those hippies had created a nice stage. So as soon as Prabhupada used to come, it used to start just a kirtan, right? So, so people entering the door, or the bachelors get shocked. And they remove their shoes at the door when they go inside. Hare Krishna. Did you all see the video?
Yes, yes,
It
Prabhu.
was so nice, right? So Srila Prabhupada ji, that is the original video, 1966 actually, where Srila Prabhupada ji established ISKCON there in New York. So it was the first year of his arrival in America. He had been to Pennsylvania first, then he came back to New York, stayed with Dr. Mishra's ashram. Then he moved to Loft in the Lower Bowery, where he used to stay with the drug addicts. And then he moved to this 26 Second Avenue, where in the storefront, he that became like a headquarters, right, of ISKCON there at that time. And Srila Prabhupada said that we will call this society as ISKCON. Well, this acronym was coined, and Prabhupada, when this acronym was coined, he also laughed playfully when he coined the word ISKCON. And then a lot of people who signed as a trustees or trustee members, they had no idea what they're signing for. And they were all of a sudden introduced one day during the Bhagavad Gita class. Prabhupada said that we are going to introduce to the lawyer, Mr. Goldsmith, who was the lawyer. And then Prabhupada said, everybody's present here, you take their signatures. So, and take their addresses. And lawyer said, can I do it now? And he said, yeah, go ahead, please take their signatures. And none of the trustees had idea exactly what they're signing for. But I mean, they said, okay, Swamiji is asking and he's forming a society, so let's sign. But they were not even aware what were the role and responsibilities. But anyhow, the ISKCON was established, the headquarters were established as 26 Second Avenue. And the followers at that time, some of their names were mentioned, like Wally. Uh, uh, they were all, their experiences are mentioned in the Prabhupada Lilamrita in this chapter. But all along, Srila Prabhupada's mood of service continued. In addition to preaching there at the Second Avenue, 26 Second Avenue, he used to stay uh, in the quarters back of the storefront, and there he used to translate all the time Srimad Bhagavatam. That was his main work. And Prabhupada's health was doing okay at this time. He was improving, but not to the greatest extent. This is Prabhupada is now almost 80 years at this time, uh, and that is 1966. Now we are talking about July, August 1966. He arrived on September 23rd, 1965. And so it has been less than a year, almost a year now, probably. Prabhupada been is here. And he has established ISKCON. And now the next step is the in initiating the devotees. So that is this chapter, chapter number 19. It's called Planting the Seed, where Srila Prabhupada start initiating the devotees within 1 year. That is like in India, Prabhupada was struggling for so many years, could only initiate one person in 20 years of struggle in India. And now within 1 year, he starts initiating here in America. Now, this storefront becomes a temple hall, and two-story room apartment became like a residence where Prabhupada used to stay, study, and this was like a makeshift monastery, you know. The temple was gaining popularity among the underground community in the Lower East Side, and the courtyard, which was at the back of the building, which offered a peaceful, tranquil atmosphere with a garden, bird sanctuary, and the trees. And Swamiji's personal back room was considered inner sanctum of the monastery. So, setting is of the city slum. All right, this Second Avenue is also not very well-to-do area actually. There are a lot of people with a drug problem used to stay there, and room rent was very low. So a lot of poor people used to stay in that area. But the temple room was like a lecture hall, kirtan hall, everything was there. And the lectures were very serious type of lectures. Prabhupada's lectures were very formal, serious, and there was no casual discussion during the lecture. Like lecture used to be for the 45 minutes. Everybody used to listen to the lecture. Prabhupada used to quote from the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita's and Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada did not have his own Bhagavad Gita at this time. So he was using Dr. Radhakrishnan's Bhagavad Gita to teach everybody. And uh, there was a lot of noise on the street while Prabhupada is giving class in this 26 Second Avenue storefront. You see, there are a lot of traffic going around, a lot of people on the street shouting, dogs barking, and the door is open because this is August month, like a hot season, summer season, right? Summer is very hot in North America, even in our city also. Like sometimes the temperature goes 40. So Prabhupada is in this small room, a long storefront, and door is open. Prabhupada is keeping door open. Prabhupada never wanted the doors to be closed because somebody can walk in right inside. So doors never used to be locked or closed. And so a lot of traffic, but still Prabhupada is giving a lecture in this traffic and congestion. And people are shouting, children are playing, cars are honking, and then Prabhupada lecture is going on there, right? And then the kirtan, as I said that before in the video also, we saw the kirtan. Prabhupada's kirtan was about 40-45 minutes kirtan. Now, the kirtans were creative kirtan. What does it mean? The creative kirtan means that uh, newcomers were encouraged to bring various instruments. So nowadays in the kirtan we have kartal, mridanga, harmonium. But at that time, in the 26 Second Avenue, people used to bring flutes, guitar, uh, and they even improvised unique objects like an old string bass, an upright piano. So everybody used to bring whatever they could, and Prabhupada never objected it actually, because he wanted to encourage them. And guests freely participated in the kirtan, created their own melodies and vibrations, contributing to the lively and dynamic atmosphere. So It was a different type of atmosphere. But then Prabhupada, even though he gave a freedom, there was a balance between freedom and discipline. And there was a limit to extravaganza. Newcomers, even though they were bringing various instruments, Prabhupada made sure that if they play incorrectly, kirtan has to be very synchronous and properly, So Prabhupada used to stop them and correct them actually. So that they maintain the standard beat. Now, listen, here Prabhupada doesn't have a mrudangam. Okay, Prabhupada is in 1966. He does not have mrudanga here while he's doing kirtan. So what is he playing at this time? Anybody knows? Prabhuji? What is Prabhupada playing here for the kirtan?
Is Kartal Prabhu?
Prabhupada used to play bongo actually.
Oh, wow.
And he was so expert at drumming bongo. You know bongo, right? Somebody gave the bongo drum to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was so expert at playing bongo even that local drummers used to attend kirtan to listen to Prabhupada's bongo playing. So Prabhupada was expert at this thing. Yeah? So Prabhupada is working in a very limited atmosphere in the worst circumstances possible. Among the people who are hippies, who are drug addicts, having no resources, no books, nothing, Prabhupada. And then he's old man, right? 80 years old man. What can he do, right? So here is the Prabhupada's life. Now, the people who attended the kirtan, um, here is one of those. Venkata Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, sure. New high. The Swami's Kirtan were a new high, and the boys would glance at each other with widening eyes and shaking heads as they responded to his chanting, comparing it to their previous drug experiences and signaling each other favorably. This is great. It's a better than LSD. Hey man, I am really getting high on this. And Prabhupada encouraged their new found intoxication.
Thank you, Ro.
Yeah.
So all these hippies, they were like, even we listened to that video recording in which Prabhupada is singing the kirtan, and he used to have the same tune, we call Prabhupada tune, right? So he's singing the same kirtan, same tune, and those hippies, they used to come and they used to have drugs. They wanted to have LSD for getting high, but then when they attended these kirtans of Srila Prabhupada, they found that they got ecstatic symptoms. So they said, "Oh, this is like better than the LSD." So they're saying that, "Oh, I'm getting high on this." So Prabhupada encouraged them. That this is like a kirtan is like a new intoxication for them. So in this way, in the front of this storefront is the temple room, which is a makeshift temple room. There are no deities here. One of the hippies had painted a picture of Radha Krishna there, so which was at the on the wall behind the small stage. And Prabhupada is staying at the back, on the second floor. And that back room functioned as a meeting place where visitors could come, knock the door, speak to Srila Prabhupada, talk to him face to face. And Prabhupada, while in his quarters, he used to translate all the time books, and he used to have small trunk as his desk. He stored all the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3 volumes he got from India. He stored it in this trunk, and that trunk was his all the time makeshift desk all throughout. Even at Dr. Mishra's yoga studio, in that room, he used to use that trunk as a desk. At the Bowery also in the loft, that was his desk, and now also the same desk. And he's translating on the trunk. And currently, that trunk is there in Los Angeles Temple. Actually, if you ever go there, you can visit the Prabhupada's room there. So that trunk is there. So while Prabhupada is translating on this desk, if some visitor enters, then Prabhupada used to stop his work and dedicate time to listen to the visitor. Question answers. He used to answer them. And sometimes visitors used to ask him like his personal questions, and Prabhupada used to talk about his childhood, talking about his experience in India, So he was accessible. Prabhupada was very formal with the guest. Some guest used to ask a philosophical question, and he used to answer them. So lectures in the temple hall are three times a week: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on the evenings without temple lectures, then people used to come and meet Srila Prabhupada and talk to him about various things. Prabhupada also, Lilamrita mentions, Prabhupada used to talk about credit, about politics in India. And at that time, freedom struggle was just over. And Prabhupada said that Subhash Chandra Bose's contribution, military contribution for the freedom, and he credited Subhash Chandra Bose's military efforts more than Gandhi's non-violence for the India's independence. And Prabhupada charmed listeners with the various stories of his devotional childhood, and how he used to conduct Rath Yatra ceremony with his father Gaur Mohan Dey. There's a small, when he was young, he used to have a festivals, and he used to also explain about some words like mrudangam. So the hippies never heard the word mridanga. So, or sannyas, like some of the words hippies never heard. Shastra. So those words Prabhupada used to explain them. And actually, every afternoon, Prabhupada used to cook for all the devotees in the temple, in that storefront. So, how many devotees used to attend? Every day, about 12 to 15 people. Like you see, 80-year-old man having no money, right? How did he get the money? And the food was not like cooking was not small cooking. Roti, dal, chawal, sabji. He used to cook on elaborate feast, actually. Proper single-handedly. Cooking every day morning for 15 people in New York. And some of the hippies used to come just for the prasadam, nothing else. So they used to come and eat and go. But Prabhupada, even after washing the pots, after cleaning, this 80-year-old man is washing the pots. And Lilamrita described that Prabhupada kept the whole place was very neat and clean. And there was like Prabhupada used to no furniture in Prabhupada where we were staying, but still everything was neat and clean, and everything was like up to the mark. So here further Lilamrita describes about Prabhupada's storefront here. So Prabhupada expertly acted as both master of kirtan and a guru, following Lord Sri Chaitanya's teachings that chanting the holy name was, there were no strict rules. And he referred the temple as a kindergarten of the spiritual life, where he taught the basics of Krishna consciousness. Everybody used to come there, listen to the lectures, then listen to the kirtan. Prabhupada used to give them instructions about following the regulative principles. Uh, and this was like everybody's school where they were learning about Krishna consciousness. After the kirtans, sometimes he invited interested attendees for deeper discussions into the department. And every day in the morning, like from morning 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Prabhupada used to work alone because all day he's busy. So many people are around him. So he used to translate the books. So that was early morning hour work. And his morning program included translating Srimad Bhagavatam, sitting on his suitcase desk. So he was all the time busy. And the meals at the temple. Venkata Prabhu, you want to read? Sorry, not Sujata Mataji. Sorry, you just read Venkata Prabhu. Sujata Mataji can read.
There is a temple. Lunches in the temple's front room became a daily ritual, with Prabhupada and about a dozen men sharing meals cooking by Keith. Initially cooking for only Prabhupada, Keith expanded his skills to serve larger groups, using Indian spices and techniques taught by the Swami.
Sorry,
Prabhupada,
sorry.
Prabhupada encouraged hearty eating of prasadam, fostering a joyful, family-like atmosphere where everyone ate enthusiastically.
Thank you so much. So there was one devotee. His name, like he's just a hippie actually. He's not initiated. His name was Keith. Keith was a little sincere, and he used to come and help Srila Prabhupada in cooking. And every day they used to cook for about 12 to 15 people. And Prabhupada used to get all the Indian spices from the surroundings of that Second Avenue. Because the cooking required spices, right? So, and Prabhupada encouraged everybody to eat as much as they can. Like he used to even ask, "Oh, eat more," like So he used to feed everybody very enthusiastically, and there was dal, rice, sabji, freshly made chapatis. Keith, and then Prabhupada made chapati without rolling pin. He never had a rolling pin. He used to make the chapatis with the hand, and he taught this to Keith also. And Prabhupada said in the Lilamrita mentioned that Prabhupada thought that how would Americans like Indian food? So, but I mean, still he cooked the Indian food like roti, dal, chawal, sabji, and all the hippies they ate very happily actually. And personally, Prabhupada personally took care of this young guest. Uh, there was one boy, his name mentioned in the Lilamrita, his name Stanley, and Stanley, Prabhupada fed him very much, like very like a father figure. He said, eat more, Stanley," like that. And on Sundays, Prabhupada used to prepare elaborate feast with many Indian dishes like samosas, kachoris, sweets. So Prabhupada is doing everything by himself, and Keith is helping Srila Prabhupada. So the Steve's experience, whom Srila Prabhupada encouraged eating actually. So Vidura Prabhu, you want to read cooking?
Cooking. Steve. Swamiji personally cooked the prasadam and then served it to us upstairs in his front room. We all sat in rows, and I remember him walking up and down in between the rows of boys, passing before us with his bare feet and serving us with a spoon from different pots. He would ask, "What did we want? Did we want more of this?" And he would serve us with pleasure. These dishes were not ordinary, but sweets and savories like sweet rice and kachoris with special tastes. Even after we had all taken a full plate, he would come back and ask us to take more.
Very well, thank you. So Prabhupada was expert cook actually. He was not a regular cook. We can prepare a little bit here and there. He's not like that. He's preparing kachoris. He's preparing sweet rice. He's preparing a very extravaganza feast, and he is personally serving them. You see, he's to bring the spoon with the different pots. Everybody's sitting, and Prabhupada is personally serving them. So everybody's sitting on the floor, and the Prabhupada is serving them and says, take more," and he's so that's like a lot of love there, right? How can you do this all? So in this way, Prabhupada is feeding them. He's training them in the Krishna consciousness. He is giving classes, lectures. He's doing kirtan. He's translating the books. So a lot of work for 80-year-old man. And then Prabhupada used to, like, those hippies now, Prabhupada used to train them to take bath. And they have only one washroom there in the Prabhupada's quarter there. Now, all these 12, 15 hippies, some of them are also staying in the storefront. And so Prabhupada is taking bath, and all these hippies are also taking bath. And then after taking bath, then Prabhupada is applying the tilak. So then everybody used to see the tilak, him applying the tilak. So they're asking the question about how to put the tilak. So Prabhupada is guiding them about the tilak. Mamta Mataji, you want to read this? I think Mataji is not there. Okay. So,
Hare
Prabhupada,
Krishna, yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Tilak, Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj used to put a tilk without a mirror. Devotee, did it come out neat, Prabhupada? Neat or not neat? That doesn't matter. Yes, it was also neat.
Ah, right, right. So, thank you, Mataji. So, Prabhupada, after taking the shower, then Prabhupada used to sit on a mat in his front room, and there was a picture of Panchatattva. There was no deity, just a Panchatattva picture. And in front of the Panchatattva picture, Prabhupada is applying the tilak, right? So he used to make a paste, put the water in the chandan, and then apply to his forehead, and then all the 11 places over the body parts. So the followers used to observe, and they used to ask the question that. And then Prabhupada is saying, then all the devotees also asking him the question that how to apply the tilak. And Prabhupada used to share his experience that how Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, used to apply the tilak. So he used to apply the tilak without mirror, and then Prabhupada learned how to apply the tilak without mirror actually. So the devotee said, oh, without the mirror, how can a tilak be neat, proper? So Prabhupada said, neat or not neat, that does not matter. But yes, the tilak was neat, even Prabhupada is saying that. But doesn't matter as long as you apply the tilak. That was the Vaishnava mark. Now, every day in the evening, Prabhupada used to offer dhupa ceremony. They had a picture of Radha Krishna and Panchatattva in the storefront. So every evening, Prabhupada is offering the dhup because Prabhupada does not have the whole arti ceremony paraphernalia. He doesn't have a deep or chamar, nothing like. He does not have flowers, no elaborate worship. So what Prabhupada used to do, he had two small bells. So every evening, Prabhupada performed a ceremonial offering, waving incense before Lord Chaitanya's picture, ringing the brass bells. And nobody used to know what Prabhupada is doing. All these hippies, they're just watching Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada never told that this is Aarti ceremony because Prabhupada, I don't know why he didn't tell them. But then the boys, the hippies, they called the ceremony as bell ceremony, bells. And that's it. The Aarti ceremony they called bells. And then following the ceremony on certain nights in the evening, Kirtan would take place. But only when Prabhupada arrived to lead it. If Prabhupada did not arrive, then they never used to lead the Kirtan. So in this way, they used to do some ceremony. Now there was one person, his name was Don. Now he lived in the storefront, right? As I said, that storefront was empty, and Prabhupada allowed some of those hippies who were drug addicts to stay in the storefront. But Prabhupada put a condition that if you want to stay in the storefront, then you cannot take any drugs. But this person, Don, lived in the storefront, but he resisted in changing his habits and frequently taking marijuana despite Prabhupada's request not to take it. So a confrontation arose when Don denied smoking and reacted violently, prompting Prabhupada to take a very serious action. So there was one time one visitor visited Prabhupada's storefront here, temple, and he saw Don smoking. So Prabhupada, the person said, do not smoke. He said, I'm not smoking. He lied actually. And then said, you are taking drugs also. So he said, no, I'm not taking drugs. And then he was searched and they found LSD in his pocket. So this person, Don, he hit the person who was searching him. So the news, when it reached to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was very angry actually. And Prabhupada actually wanted to punish him. But then Prabhupada said, I must take a serious action. So he decided that Don cannot stay there in the storefront unless and until he give up the drugs. Because Srila Prabhupada wanted to protect ISKCON there. And next time also when the Don came and he was on the drugs, Prabhupada refused to come inside, let him come inside. So like that. So Prabhupada was strict like that. So when the drug addicts used to come there, Prabhupada never allowed them to come there. There's another person, his name is Raphael, and Raphael was not interested in spiritual discipline, and he resisted chanting, and he had a doubt about Krishna consciousness also. But Prabhupada was very patient with him, even addressing his complaints directly. So you see here, Prabhupada is very compassionate, very kind, and very tolerant at the same time. Like if so people do not want to chant, do not want to participate, then how can you tolerate? But Prabhupada tolerated them. And when Raphael voiced his frustration, Prabhupada firmly encouraged him to follow his path if he wasn't ready to for the devotion. So Raphael ultimately stayed. So Raphael was interested in other activities. He used to say, "Oh, my father was a boxer, and I'm not supposed to do kirtan here. I like boxing, or I like going out." So Prabhupada said, "Okay, don't do that then if you like to do that. I'm not forcing you to stay here." But then still Raphael stayed around Srila Prabhupada, and ultimately there's another devotee, his name is Bill Epstein. Bill Epstein had an honest but detached relationship with Srila Prabhupada. He helping him while never committing to be serious follower of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada personally tried to engage Bill, answering his challenging question and appreciating his dancing during the kirtans. And Bill contributed some money to Srila Prabhupada and respected Srila Prabhupada, and he resisted reversal worship and remained an independent supporter of Srila Prabhupada. There's some few more. There was one supporter, his name is Carl Youngson. He is the one who helped Srila Prabhupada from Bauri when David was very violent, and Prabhupada had to leave the Bauri loft. Then he went and stayed with Carl's apartment. So he had a significant role in helping Srila Prabhupada, assisting ISKCON's incorporation and supporting him during the difficult times. He was respecting Srila Prabhupada as a genuine Swami, but he was not serious about philosophy. And then Prabhupada said, no meat eating, no sex, no intoxication, and he did not like that. So, Carl preferred Prabhupada's participation associating in the Labauri, but he very rarely attended Second Avenue programs. He distanced himself to some extent also from public appearance. And there are other followers, their names mentioned here are Carol Becker, who liked the kirtans, uh, but then she, but she liked the kirtan with a very low beat or Kamal kirtan. Uh, and he found gathering on the Second Avenue was like more volatile or violent type of attendees. So then she stopped coming actually. Then James Green, he respected Srila Prabhupada but chose not to commit fully and preferred to live independently. Robert Nilsson. So some of the early followers' names are mentioned. They did not adopt Prabhupada instruction, but they were well-wishers and they're helping Srila Prabhupada. So like that. So there were some more followers. Bruce Carf. Uh, then there was Chuck Barnett. He was a jazz flutist, and he was a Hatha yoga practitioner, taking LSD. So and then there was a Steve Gurino, a writer, Navy veteran, exploring God and consciousness via LSD and jazz. Discovered Prabhupada's lecture in the Matchless Gift Store while walking on the Second Avenue. So some of the people's names are there in the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. Some experiences are also here. Vidura Prabhu, can you read? Is it font too small for you to read?
Oh, it's perfect. I can read. Bruce, I was looking for Hare Krishna. I had left my apartment and had walked over to Avenue B when I decided to walk all the way down to Houston Street. When I came to First Street, I turned right and then walking along First Street came to Second Avenue. All along First Street, I was seeing these Puerto Rican grocery stores. And then there was one of those churches where everyone was standing up, singing loudly, and playing tambourines. Then, as I walked further along First Street, I had the feeling that I was leaving the world, like when you're going to the airport to catch a plane. I thought, now I'm leaving a part of me behind and I'm going to something new.
Yeah, so you thank you, Roy. So Bruce experience of visit to the Second Avenue gift shop, and there is Steve. Venkata Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Steve, I had a feeling that this was a group that was already established and had been meeting for a while. I came in and sat down on the floor, and a boy who said his home was Roy was very courteous and friendly to me. He seemed to be one who had already experienced the meetings. He asked me my name, and I felt at ease. Suddenly, the Swami entered, coming through the side door. He was wearing a saffron dhoti, but no shirt, just a piece of cloth like a long sash, tied in a knot across his right shoulder and leaving his arms. He left his left shoulder and part of his chest bare. When I saw him, I thought of the Buddha.
Buddha, thank you, Prabhuji. So Prabhupada wearing saffron dhoti and just chadar on the top, shawl on the top, nothing else. And he is training them here, Srila Prabhupada. Bruce, Sujata Mataji, are you there?
There were about 15 people sitting on the floor. One man with a big beard sat up by the front on the right hand side, burning up against the wall. Sorry, leaning up like against the wall. After some time, the door on the opposite side opened and in walked the son. When he came in, he turned his head to see who was in his audience. And then he started right at me. Our eyes met. It was as if he was studying me. In my mind, it was like a photograph was being taken of Swamiji looking at me for the first time. There was a pause. Then he very gratefully got up on the dais and sat down and took out a pair of hand symbols and began a kirtan. The kirtan was the thing that most affected me. It was the best music I would ever heard, and it had meaning. You could actually concentrate on it, and it gave you some joy to repeat the word Hare Krishna. I immediately accepted it as a spiritual practice.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. These are some of the experiences. Prabhupada Lilamrita has description of quite a few interviews about early followers, and some of the names are here. And they all appreciated the kirtan, appreciated the Prabhupada's love and support in those times in 1966. Prabhupada was invited. Uh, there was a Vietnam War was going on. Then there was a vigil uh, was planned for condemnation of the war, and this peace vigil was held at United Nations because United Nations quarters, actually headquarters there in New York, and Prabhupada saw this vigil uh, against the Vietnam War as an opportunity to share kirtan. So Prabhupada ji he visited there along with his followers. They went into this vigil, and they started doing kirtan. But then everybody said, "Oh, you're not supposed to chant loudly here." While doing the kirtan, some officers came and they stopped them from chanting. They said, "Oh, don't do loud kirtan and drumming and all. We are doing the peaceful vigil." So everybody was quiet, and Prabhupada didn't mind it. Prabhupada requested all his followers that, okay, instead of doing loud kirtan, we'll all sit down and chant very softly. So then Prabhupada, at the United Nations headquarters, outside the headquarters, they sat quietly, all his followers and everybody, and they sat for a couple of hours and chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So then there was a person, his name was Larry Bogart. He was the in charge of this United Nations peace mission against this Vietnam War. He was impressed by Prabhupada's chanting softly, and he even talked to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada invited him to visit Second Avenue storefront temple. And so Mr. Larry Bogart, who was a very high position officer in United Nations, he said, okay, he will come and visit Srila Prabhupada in Second Avenue. So Prabhupada was very excited, and uh, he personally decided that I will cook personally for Mr. Larry Bogart's visit, because that will be really good opportunity for us to spread the Krishna consciousness in United Nations then. So then Prabhupada appointed one. Prabhupada and Keith are cooking in the store in his apartment, and one of the followers, his name is Stanley. Prabhupada says, Stanley, you stay downstairs in the storefront and do not ask anybody to come upstairs in my room, because I'm cooking specially for Mr. Larry Bogart, and he will come shortly. But until that time, do not allow anybody to come. So, following this instruction of Srila Prabhupada, then Prabhupada and Keith are cooking very, very intensely, elaborate dishes they are cooking. For whom? For this Larry Bogart, who is the United Nations representative. And Prabhupada wanted to he invited, when Larry said, oh, you come to the United Nations and give lecture also. Prabhupada was really happy. And this was an opportunity for Prabhupada to develop relationship with them. So he was cooking personally. Now, this Stanley downstairs is like a guard, and he's chasing away everybody. Whosoever comes, he says, Prabhupada is not meeting anybody because his Swamiji is cooking for a very special guest. So, like that. And then he turned away so many people. And what happened is that Mr. Larry Bogart also came, and Prabhupada was cooking for him upstairs, and Stanley asked him to stay there. He said, no, don't go up. But he didn't know that this person is Larry Bogart for whom Prabhupada is cooking. So he stayed there for 40 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but Stanley didn't allow him to go to Prabhupada. And then Larry Bogart was tired. He left the place. And then Prabhupada came, and Prabhupada and Keith are wondering why Larry is not here. They cooked all these wonderful meals for Larry. And then Prabhupada came downstairs and asked him. And he said, oh, there was a person in the suit, and I turned him away. I didn't ask him. Because you asked not to get anybody upstairs. Prabhupada said, you fool. I was cooking for this person, and you didn't even allow him to come. Prabhupada was very mad, very disappointed. But then Prabhupada was like very, really, really upset by this, because he turned away Larry Bogart, who was a very VIP representative, and Prabhupada wanted to cook for him. But then Prabhupada became very angry at Stanley. So Stanley's mental health then deteriorated, and he had a very suicidal thoughts. Stanley became very unstable after this incident. Stanley's mother personally handed over Stanley to Srila Prabhupada. So Stanley was not happy. And he came one after this incident to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, can you give me $50? Prabhupada said, why do you need $50 now? So he said, I want to buy gasoline to set myself on the fire. So Prabhupada was really upset now with the Stanley. He said, first of all, you turned away the guest. You didn't allow him to come. And then now you want to set up yourself on the fire. Prabhupada said, gasoline would not cost $50. It will just cost 50 cents. So I'm not going to give you $50 like that. Prabhupada chastised him. So Prabhupada had some challenges with all these devotees with them. But Prabhupada's managed this one and help all the devotees who were there with Srila Prabhupada at that time. So next part of the session here in Prabhupada Lilamrita is initiation. Very important part of the whole Prabhupada Lilamrita is the initiation ceremony. Keith, who is helping Prabhupada in cooking all this time, right? So one day while cooking, Keith paused for a while and Keith asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, could I become your disciple? And Prabhupada said, yes, 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 yes. Why not? Your name will be Krishnadas. So Prabhupada gave him the name Krishnadas. This is how the first initiation happened. Somebody asked him, Keith asked him that can he become and Prabhupada agreed, and again, this was Prabhupada's first granting initiation. And then he said, why don't we have a proper initiation ceremony? So Prabhupada then soon announced plan for the formal initiation. Initiation involves chanting and taking the vows. So Prabhupada said, okay, we will have an initiation ceremony. So then some of the followers were not sure what initiation meant. Steve, who is one of those followers. Vidura Prabhu, you want to read?
Definitely. Initiation. Steve, although I was already doing whatever Swamiji recommended, I sensed that initiation was a heavy commitment. And with my last strong impulses to remain completely independent, I hesitated to take initiation. Valley, it's just a formality. You accept Swamiji as your spiritual master. Howard, what does that entail? Wally, nobody's very sure. In India, it's a standard practice. Don't you think you want to take him as a spiritual master? Howard, I don't know. He would seem to be a good spiritual master, whatever that is. I mean, I like him and his teachings a lot. So I guess in a way he's already my spiritual master. I just don't understand how it would change the situation. Wally, neither do I. I guess it doesn't. It's just a formality. And now, he said at length, I will tell you what is meant by initiation. Initiation means that the spiritual master accepts the student and agrees to take charge, and the student accepts the spiritual master and agrees to worship him as God. He paused, no one spoke. Any questions? And when there were none, he got up and walked out. The devotees were stunned. What had they just heard him say? For weeks he had stressed that when anyone claims to be God, he should be considered a dog.
So you see, Prabhupada said there will be initiation ceremony. Everybody was confused. What is this initiation? Some people were not even sure what the initiation meant and what are the role and responsibilities. And they were hesitant even. to take initiation. Then they were waiting for Srila Prabhupada to say more about it. And Prabhupada says what? Prabhupada just drops a bomb. He says that initiation means disciple accepts Guru as a God and worships him as a God. And then everybody was stunned. Oh, all along you're saying that as soon as Guru claims to be a God, he should be considered a dog. And now you're saying you worship him as a God. So everybody was confused about him. So, Vidura Prabhu, you want to continue? Vidura Prabhu, continue.
Sure, Prabhuji. Guru, my mind's just been blown, said Wally. Everybody's mind is blown, said Howard. Swamiji just dropped a bomb. Wally went back to the temple and consulted Howard, and together they went up to Swamiji's apartment. Does what you told us this morning, Howard asked, mean we are supposed to accept the spiritual master to be God?
So everybody was confused. So Howard and Wally, they said, okay, let's go and talk to Swamiji. And what does he want? What does it mean that you are asking us to accept a Guru as a God? So what does that mean? Can you explain us? Because we are all along thinking that Guru should not be a God. Guru cannot be a God. So then Prabhupada replies, that means he is due the same respect as God, being God's representative. Prabhupada replied. So Wally asked, then he is not God? No, Prabhupada said, God is God. The spiritual master is his representative. Therefore, he is as good as God because he can deliver the God to the sincere disciple. Is that clear? It was. So here, Wally is asking question and Prabhupada is answering that, oh, he is representative. He is respected as good as God, but he is not God. In this way, Prabhupada decided to give initiation. So now next part in this, we'll pause here because it is now 9 o'clock. This is a little longer chapter, but we are reaching here to the point that Prabhupada has started initiation ceremony here. And this is the first year, and now August month is approaching, and Janmashtami is going to come, right? Janmashtami at that time in 1966. Janmashtami is on September 8th. And on the day of Janmashtami, which is the appearance day of Lord Shri Krishna, last year, that is 1965, Prabhupada was for Janmashtami on the Jaladuta. And at that time, he was in Colombo. Exactly 1 year later, he is in New York and he is with all the people who are chanting Hare Krishna. So the time has changed now, but now is the time for Prabhupada initiation. Prabhupada is giving initiation now to all his disciples. This is the first initiation ceremony being held here in New York at Second Avenue, and we'll talk about it. All those characters, their names, we just learned. Wally and Steve and Epstein and Howard and Carl, everybody will get initiated. And some of them still exist around us. Okay, so I'll introduce them to you next time, maybe next Sunday, then we'll have initiation ceremony understanding. Wonderful. Thank you everybody for joining. Mamtaji, Vidura Prabhu. We have one more devotee, Kushmaji. I am sorry I didn't see you earlier, Kushmaji. Sujata Prabhu, Sujata Mataji, Venkata Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see your realization from today's class. Then we'll go with Venkata Prabhu first, and then Mataji, Sujata Mataji, and everybody else can give the realizations. What did you feel like?